What is up, awesome people of the internet? Y'all, yesterday, JuJu Watkins went off in a game against Stanford and just showed another reason why, to me, she should be considered in the running for National Player of the Year. Let's talk about it. So, guys, there was a game yesterday and JuJu Watkins balled out. She is a 6'2" freshman hailing from LA, and she could have gone anywhere in the country. But she decided to stay in her own backyard and play for Lindsay Gottlieb and USC. Now, this is a decision that spells the resurgence of USC as a powerhouse in women's basketball. In the past, we had the likes of Cheryl Miller, Cynthia Cooper, Thompson, and Lisa Leslie. They put USC on the map, and after their time was over, USC kind of faltered a little bit and went into being irrelevant in the game of women's basketball. Now, USC is back because it is JuJu's turn to do her thing wearing a SoCal uniform. So far this season, JuJu is averaging 27.3 points a game. She is shooting 43% from the field, and she is averaging 7.1 rebounds a game. She's leading her team in total steals. She's second on the team in block shots as well. And she's also second in rebounds. And her usage rate is wild. She's averaging around 33 minutes a game. And if you watch USC play, you can see how they absolutely need JuJu on the court basically the entire game, because she is the engine that gets this team running. And it's her big shots that she takes. It's her ability to make the right passes. It's her ability to generate. It's generally her ability to sort of take care of the ball. And we will get to her turnover issues in a sec, but I think that's more of a usage issue, not necessarily her sort of taking care of the ball issue. All you have to do is just watch USC play. Do yourself a favor if you have not watched them play this year. Watch a game, and you see how when JuJu Watkins goes to the bench, this team basically falls apart. They run on her. They run with the ball. They run with the ball in her hands. She sets the plays. When a play falls through, you can see all the players on USC trying to find where's JuJu so we can give her the ball and she can just kind of do whatever and get us a good basket. So because JuJu is so central to this team, Lindsay Gottlieb keeps her on the court. Which makes sense. It does come with its issues, but it does absolutely make sense. JuJu Watkins is the most valuable player on her team. She's one of the most valuable players in the Pac-12, and I would argue one of the best players in the country, and should be considered for National Player of the Year, because what she does for her team would be increasingly impressive, extremely impressive for an upperclassman, not a freshman. This is not what you expect a freshman to play like. And yes, Hannah Hidalgo is also doing stuff that not a normal freshman should be doing, but JuJu Watkins and her natural ability to score and her ability to just find where the basketball is to grab rebounds as well, it's very, very special. It is very, very special. And this leads me to talking specifically about yesterday's game between number 15 USC and number 4 Stanford. Now, in this game, this is one of those games that you would sort of expect Stanford to win because they are the better team on paper. But while Stanford has Cameron Brink, who almost had a triple-double with blocks, more on that at a later time, Stanford did not have an answer to the sheer scoring ability that is JuJu Watkins. So they ended up losing the game, 67 USC, 58 Stanford. Now let's get into this game, and specifically, let's talk about JuJu Watkins' game in particular. This girl went 14 of 26 from the field, including 6 crucial three-pointers, basically in a row. She went 17 of 19 from the free throw line, and she scored 51 points against Stanford. Yes, you heard me correctly. She scored 51 points. She also added in 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 steals. She had a complete game. On the offensive end, she was scoring. She was doing her thing on the defensive end. She was not a slouch.
JuJu, when did you start to realize that maybe something special is going to happen tonight? And then, Coach, when did you start to realize it just watching from the sidelines?
I don't know. It was just a great environment. I don't know. I think at halftime when I looked up, I was like, damn, I have like 25 points. I could get like 50. And then it was crazy. That's all I could say.
I was just really happy when her first three went down.
Yeah.
Because I see the work. I see the work. She's got everything, in her bag, and the three just hasn't fallen in the last couple games as well. So that first three goes down, and I was like, here we go. And then just it started to be like, every shot was going down, and it wasn't like there was no resistance, right? I mean, you've got Cameron Brink inside and 2 and 3 people being thrown at her, and it was just, she was getting to her spots. And so to me, at some point in that first half, I was like, okay, she's feeling it. Then I see the stat sheet, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then when I come out for the halftime interview, and I was kind of late coming out, Mary Murphy goes, so Lindsay, let me just ask you one question. Would you be okay if Ju gets 50 and the rest of the team doesn't get going and you win? And I said, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I also knew that other people, I thought she kept making the right read again and again. It's hard to finish inside against those defenders, but we needed Kenzie's big shots. I knew and I thought someone else was going to have to hit big shots. And obviously we have trust in, thought we had some other threes that just didn't go down. But it felt special, I thought, kind of from that first three.
And I would say sort of throughout the game, you kind of saw JuJu Watkins being unselfish. She was moving the ball around the court. Like, yes, she was absolutely looking to score as well, but she was also looking for her teammates and passing it. It's just that either they didn't take the shot, or or the ball ended up getting back to her in some way.
Her feel is incredible. We've talked about. I don't know that there's a better defensive conference in this country and better coaches. So she's seeing a different game plan every night, and her ability to feel the game, but also try to learn on film and add it all together is really impressive. I'm starting just to be able to just ask her in game more, like, where do you want the ball? What do you see? Then be able to say, okay, in this action, KP's going to be here. Can make the right read? And I've told her before, if the right read is 26 shots, then it's 26 shots. If the right read is 10 passes in a row, then that's what it is. And I trust in her ability to do that and continue to make. I thought she was really good with her three was going, but still getting to the rim. I mean, she drew 16 fouls. There's just a lot of ways she impacts the game, and it's a lot more than just scoring.
She was balling, and not just was she doing a good job on defense as well with those steals. She also stayed out of foul trouble, which is critical, and it really just shows a lot of basketball IQ for a player like her as a freshman to have the IQ on the court to know what to do, know the right shots to shoot, and to also just sort of be so dialed in on offense and defense and staying out of foul trouble, knowing that your team absolutely needs you on the court in order for you to win, is amazing. I believe last night 3 USC players fouled out, but JuJu Watkins did not. So shout out to JuJu Watkins for that, because her basketball IQ. I keep saying this, but just watch a game and you will be able to see her work. It's hard to totally give it justice how she plays, but I can just wrap it up with basketball IQ. She has it in spades. It was sort of obvious that JuJu was torching Stanford, but there was nothing that Tara could do, because no matter what Stanford tried to do on defense, there was no stopping JuJu. She was just too strong, too much in the zone, and all Tara and the rest of the Cardinals could do was just watch in awe. Because if you didn't watch yesterday's game, it is on YouTube now, so do yourself a favor and watch it. Because a good amount of that game, it really was individually, JuJu, for a good amount of the game, JuJu had more points than Stanford. As the entire team, JuJu individually had more points than Stanford as a whole, which is a wild stat to even just sort of talk about. JuJu made history last night, scoring 76% of USC's points, which is the highest percentage of the team scoring in a game by a D1 player in the last 25 years. She also scored the most points in USC history. Her performance was the most points by a D1 freshman since 2010, and that was back when EDD, Atlanta Deladon, was playing. JuJu is the first in the last 25 years to score 50 points against a AP top 5 school. And the list goes on and on and on for the history that JuJu Watkins made yesterday. So yes, JuJu Watkins deserves to be in the conversation for National Player of the Year because, because of that game yesterday and the fact that she did it against Stanford, not just some scrub team, but the fact that she has been doing this in the Pac-12 and in a non-conference play this entire year. Not necessarily scoring 51 points, but in terms of her scoring ability, in terms of her defensibility at times, in terms of her just sheer will to just sort of do whatever she needs to do to get the dub for USC. Yes, she's had some not so great games in terms of efficiency, but when it all comes down to it, you just can't not acknowledge the talent that is JuJu Watkins. And everybody in the gym yesterday knew Stanford was at home, and all of the Stanford fans knew that all they had to do was stop JuJu and they would win.
If you don't mind, one more specific to tonight. Did you start to notice when like the crowd was like just in awe? Like they weren't even.
Yeah. Bro, no. Every time I scored, all I heard was ooh. Like it wasn't even like a boo. I was like, all right, I guess. I respect.
Like, they're witnessing greatness.
They're just like, oh. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Tara threw everything at her. She sent traps. They doubled and triple teamed her, but none of it was successful enough to get them the dub because, as I said before, JuJu's basketball IQ is through the roof. And yes, she is a freshman, y'all. So we got a couple more years to watch her work. Maybe it's at USC, maybe she goes somewhere else, but we got a lot more years of watching her work in college basketball, and it is going to be amazing to see. So yes, she is an amazing player, but I do have a little thing that I do worry about for her and USC is JuJu's usage rate. She is racking up way too many minutes because her team cannot seem to reasonably be able to function with her getting some serious, very needed rest on the bench, which leads to her being very fatigued and shooting some ill-advised shots, especially late in games, which in turn hurt her field goal percentage and leads to also her committing turnovers. We saw this in the Stanford game. You could see in the fourth quarter, to start the fourth quarter, she was gassed. Coach took her out with like a couple seconds left to go in the third quarter, and she started in the fourth instead of actually giving her some well-needed rest on the bench. USC was winning at the time, so I was like, okay, well, why aren't you resting her at least for a minute or two to start the fourth? But Watkins stayed in the game, and you saw her fatigued. She went through a shooting slump, shooting some shots that she was making earlier in the game, but then she was just sort of missing because she was tired. She was gassed. Yes, she made it through. Played the entire fourth game and was still extremely impactful for her team. Still playing defense and able to get to the free throw line, but being able to rest your star player long term is very, very important because yes, it was fine. You made it through this game. JuJu was still JuJu, even though she wasn't as efficient in the fourth quarter as the rest of the quarters. She still did her thing and put up a bunch of points and got you the win. However, as time continues to go on, that's going to build on itself, and you're setting up a situation where maybe as we get into tournament play, you're not going to be able to do that anymore because all these minutes are going to compound. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So we'll kind of see what happens. But to me, that is the worry that I have for USC and for JuJu is just her usage rate is just way too high. Yes, they need it. They absolutely need it because they aren't good without her not being on the court. But to me, that is a cause for concern if you are a USC fan. JuJu seems to literally put her team on her back every single game. It really is phenomenal to see. USC is a top team in the country solely because of one player. And because of that, I believe that JuJu Watkins should be in the running for National Player of the Year. So, guys, my question to you is, what do you think about JuJu Watkins and how she's played so far? Also, what awards do you think she's in the running for? Is it National Player of the Year? Is she is just Freshman of the Year? How does she compete with Hannah Hidalgo? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, did y'all watch last night's game? Again, as I said, you should be able to watch that full game on YouTube. So if you didn't watch it last night, I understand. It was very late. I did stay up and watch the game. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments after you watch the game. Yeah, crazy game. Hannah Hidalgo is a beast. Again, 51 points. And y'all, Stanford only had 56 points in this game. So, Stanford only had 58 points in this game. So, JuJu Watkins individually almost scored as many points as Stanford did as a team. They scored 7 more points than she did as a team to her individual. I'm just saying, how could that not be? How could that performance not be another feather in her cap to be included as a possible National Player of the Year? I'm just saying. But guys, this is a new series that I am doing. I will be taking a look at all the other players who I believe are in the running for National Player of the Year. So be on the lookout for the rest of those videos. This video was specifically about JuJu. We will have another video specifically about Cameron Brink. We will have a specific video about Caitlin Clark. We will have one about Hannah Hidalgo and other players that I believe are in the running for National Player of the Year. So be on the lookout for that. So in the comments, please don't say, hey, what about this player? What about this player? This video was specifically about JuJu Watkins. So we will have other videos about other players going forward. I do want to say thank you all so much for watching and making it to the end of this video. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. Please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Also, if you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I make commentary all about women's basketball. We have live streams all the time. It's a good time. Join the awesome people of the internet by hitting that subscribe button. Guys, thank you again. And until next time, guys. Bye.